Hi, I'm Catherine Gray, founder of She Angel Investors and co founder of the She Angels Foundation. I'm also the podcast host of Invest in Her and an award winning producer, author, and TEDx speaker. Our show, Invest in Her, features phenomenal female founders and funders. As you know, women receive less than 2% of venture capital funding. Our series is about accelerating the funding of women by connecting them to funding resources. Let's meet today's guest. Welcome to this week's episode of Invest in Her. I'm your host, Catherine Gray, founder of She Angel Investors, co-founder of the She Angels Foundation, and of course, executive producer of Show Her the Money movie. And today, as always, we have on an incredible guest. She has a new book out. It's called Finding Your Diamonds. Is that a great name or what? Please welcome to the show, Liz Svatek. Hi, Liz. How are you?
Oh my God, so good to be with you. I'm so excited to be here.
And I still said it wrong, didn't I?
You know what? Who cares?
Liz
Back in the
Svatek
country,
yeah.
in Czechoslovakia, I'm sure that's correct.
I mean, it's spelled with a V, but you pronounce it with the W. So let's get that straight right out of the box.
Yes.
But I do want people to know it's spelled with a V because I want them to get your book. So let's just talk about finding your diamonds and why you created this amazing book that really is so raw and real and passionate, and it's a must read. But your last name is spelled Svatek. So even though we say Swatic, when they're looking for it on Amazon, it is with a V. Yeah. So wanted them to know that. You want to hold up your book? If you're just listening, you can't see it. You're going to have to buy it. But yeah, what a fabulous cover.
It's very pink.
Yes, fabulous cover. And not only do you have a book out and that you're an author, but also you have a great podcast. It's called the Liz
Svatek
Show. Hello. Okay. And also you do coaching. Yes. So Warrior Women Coaching. And I have to say, I know a lot of people that have really benefited from your coaching. So you're really definitely doing what you're meant to be doing because you're helping a lot of people with that. And I think between your show and your podcast and your workshops, for those really looking to take things to the next level, you're their girl.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I feel like I am. I feel, well, you know what? If you're over 40, I'm your girl because I gotta say, that's my zone. I 40 and up. If you're 50, 40, 60, 70, that's
You're 39, we might let you in.
We might be ready. Yes.
I met you at a BRA luncheon, which, by the way, BRA is Business Relationship Alliance. For those that don't know, a fabulous group run by Carrie Murray. And I was at a luncheon and you were the speaker. And I was like, oh my God, this woman is such a fabulous speaker. Come to find out that you'd done stand-up comedy. So no wonder that you were hilarious. And I love comedy. So just loved you immediately, thought, wow, this woman is such a great speaker, such a great inspiration. You gave a great talk. And yeah, I'll just never forget that first talk and meeting you. And then we've been so lucky to have you come into She Angels Foundation on our advisory board. So we've got to do that together as well. So yeah, you're like me. We do a lot of different things. And I think that's what keeps life so rich and exciting, right? To write a book and to do a podcast and meet incredible women. And then also the work you're doing to lift women up. So let's first talk about the book, since that's your newest endeavor. It is not easy writing a book, is it?
No. And truthfully, this was not the book I thought I was writing. I wanted to write the fluff book, Catherine. I wanted to write the coaching book where I tell you how to heal yourself and I'm going to be the coach. That is not the book I wrote because my editor.
Honestly, I read your book. I was reading it the other day. The first chapter is like, I'm like, wow, she really laid it out on the table. It was so bold. I imagine it was healing for your own self, right? But that it's so true. That does make the best books when people really share the real deal that other people are going to relate to instead of the fluff, right?
Bingo. My editor was like, people do not want to read a book where they don't know where this is coming from. You can give the best advice in the world, but when you say, I'm giving you advice on boundaries because I didn't have them.
Right.
I didn't have one. I grew up with not learning what a boundary was. I had no boundaries because I grew up in an abusive household. And so you don't learn boundaries when you're in an abusive household. In fact, you're not allowed to have them. So I became an expert on boundaries because I had none and I had to learn how to have them. And so I think this book, being raw and real, like you're saying, really is, I'm reaching out to women. I'm saying I have done I have been on a lot of different journeys. Everything from, a really kind of hard childhood to infertility to waking up at 49 and saying, "Oh my God, is this it? Like this cannot be my life," to completely changing careers, to finding my legacy. I mean, name it, I've done it. I have a kid with a physical difference. I have a kid with ADHD. I mean, if there's a journey that you're on, I have done it. And I think, when you meet somebody like that and they've done a lot of healing and work, which I have, and we've all done work, we've all done work. I wanted to really line out, well, what does it really take? What does it really take when you're in your 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s and you kind of hit the wall? What does it take to come out of that and be better?
And so many people are stuck in their past. They take the past and they carry it with them really to their last day. And that's always their regret because, it's like Oprah said, you can't change your past, but you can change your present and your future. Right. And I think that's what your message is about. And that you've lived that yourself. And now you help other women to do the same. And so I think that's what's so great about your book. You share the good, the bad, and the ugly, and but also do it throughout the book. Also, your comedic approach is always there. Your personalities in there makes me laugh. So that's what makes it an entertaining read. And it must felt like such an accomplishment to complete this book and now have it out there.
Oh, absolutely. And I love what you said about the past because the past is only, this is, I think, what women don't understand. Everyone has a story, right? Everyone has a story about their past, but you are the author of that story.
Yeah.
If you don't like that story of your past, guess who can change it? You, right? And it's not that we're going to ignore what happened in our past or make light of it or say it didn't happen, but you have to make your past useful to you. And in
Right.
order to do that, you have to reframe it on some level. You have to get the diamonds. When I say finding your diamonds, I'm talking about you got to go back in your past and find the wisdom. What was the wisdom through that pain that you learned that you can carry forward? And I think that takes some doing, but I put exercises in the book so you can do it.
Right.
But I think that the women I see who are the happiest aren't carrying their past forward. They're standing on diamonds.
I love that. And, it's so much about what you just said resonates with me in that, I think it's really important. My wife and I keep a gratitude journal. So at the end of the day, we're writing down what we're grateful for. And even on the worst days, you can always find the diamonds in that day because, if the roof fell in, you still had the dog to love, or the friend that called, or or the wine with a friend.
Yeah.
You still had something that day that was amazing and a miracle. Like I don't think any day goes by that there aren't some miracles, right? And
Yes.
so I love that terminology, finding your diamonds, and that's something we can do on a daily basis.
Absolutely. And I want you to know I put you in the book.
You did. That
Put you
I didn't know.
Well, because one of the things I get to at the end of the book is I talk about legacy. And I don't believe legacy is something that happens to you after you die. I think legacy is how you're living now. And when I point to my own legacy, She Angels has been a big part of my legacy,
I
being on
love
that
that.
board. And so I put you and your co-founder, I name you in the book as how I am living my legacy now, because I am not just interested in healing women and working with women, but I also want to give back to women. So I want to be able to affect women and girls, right? I want to be able to
Yeah.
change the lives of women and girls through the foundation that you co-created, the She Angels Foundation. And so I had to name you. I had to put you right in that book.
I love that. Well, She Angels Foundation is definitely a blessing to a lot of people. I hear that all the time. All of our members seem to really love it. It of course gives funds or grants to women that are having nonprofits that are benefiting women and girls initiatives, because just like in the for-profit area, same thing in the nonprofit area, women are getting less than 2%. And we have to change that. And it's going to take women to actually change that. So women participating in things like She Angels Foundation, where we're donating our money and then giving it to these causes that'll help women and girls to prosper and thrive. And then also in the investment world, where women are underfunded in venture capital, getting just 2%. We have to change that. So, I'm very passionate about this. And speaking of that, one of the things you mentioned in your book that really resonated with me also is about intuition. I think women are really gifted with intuition, probably more than the other sex. And it really is a gift that we need to pay attention to, right?
Yes,
You
yes.
can't ignore it, because that's where we get our gems and our downloads, right? Our intuition.
100%. And I think a lot of women come to me, they're kind of drowning. They're in a low place. They feel like they're kind of disconnected from themselves. Intuition only comes to you when you can be quiet enough to hear it. And we spend a lifetime pushing that intuition down. It can even be like, what do you want for dinner? And you just say like, no, it's okay. You choose, right? We have kids, we have partners, and we just start dumbing down our needs and wants, and we start
Right.
ignoring our intuition. And the intuition's like a muscle. So if you don't use it, right, you don't kind of feel like you know how to use it anymore. But once you start tapping into it again, I couldn't believe, Catherine, how much I was ignoring my intuition, because once I started having it come back in and acting on it, I was like, my God, was this here the whole time? Like it was like non-stop. And
Yes.
I think that's the exciting thing, is that if you feel like you kind of are not in touch with it, you can get it back. You can bring it back. And that intuition is never wrong. And you can't confuse it, because some people confuse it with like fear, right? Like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that. Intuition is never low vibration.
Right.
Intuition is never bad. It feels good, even if it's a truth and it might scare you a little bit. It's the kind of scary of like, but that might be true, and maybe I need to follow that. It's an invitation. And I think that's what's so exciting. It's like we're being invited all the time. We just don't know it.
And I can't agree with you more that intuition will never steer you wrong.
Never.
It is that internal wisdom. And I do believe what you just said, to activate it, you really have to, I think, meditate. I once saw Oprah and Deepak talking about the difference between like even prayer and meditation. And Deepak was like, well, prayer is really when you're asking for things like, oh God, please,
Yes.
make this
Desperate.
person well,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but the meditation is when you're just allowing the answers and the ideas and the intuitions to download. And like you said, if your life is nothing but being on a phone and chatter, and social media and engaging with people, you never have the time to get those downloads. And I think it's really important to start your morning. Marianne Williamson says that,
Yes.
start your morning with 5 minutes minimum of meditation, and it will impact your entire day, right?
100%. In the book, I do this morning magic routine. And part of that is I tap, I do meditation. I have several different things I do. But I think what's so incredible about meditation is seeking your own guidance. You got to
Yes.
think about how many times we try to rule ourselves by committee. What do you think? Well, what does he think? What do you think I should do? What do you think, Catherine? Should I do that? I don't know. What should I do? But when you close your eyes and you go internal, you're literally seeking your own guidance. You're looking for your own answers. And there is no more powerful wisdom and answer than the one coming from you, right? Like who knows you better than you?
It's so funny you're saying that because I'll often say to somebody, what do you think I should vote? And then I think, wait a minute, my intuition is telling me what to do. I know better than they know what's the right thing for this particular situation, right? So I couldn't agree with that more.
Yeah.
Tell me about your show, your podcast, how that's impacted you, the Liz Svatek show. Like, I'm sure you're having as good a time as I am with my podcast because I get to meet the most fascinating people, often people I might not have met if I weren't doing the show, right?
100. Oh, I mean, that's the magic of it. It connects you to so many people. I had a podcast since 2020 called Conversations with Warrior Women. I don't know how, became a podcast in the top 1.5%. That was a mystery to me. I thought it was just me and my mother listening, but apparently there were other people listening. But I relaunched it after all these years as the Liz Svatek Show because I wanted to really make it about transformation. I wanted to live coach people. I wanted to meet other people in the transformation space and hear what the thought leaders are saying. And this has been so fun for me because now I just interviewed Paul Stanley from Kiss. He's an amazing story of transformation about his life. I interviewed Dr. Amen, who, if you don't know, he's the most incredible brain doctor. He's done over 200,000 brain scans, and he can tell you all about the female brain and the differences. I just did an incredible podcast with him about what is happening, what is going on with the female brains, especially during menopause.
Oh,
He's
you mean we're different from the brain up, from the chin up, as well as the waist down?
I mean, hello. And I think that's the problem is that the whole medical community, of course, ignores the fact that we're different and doesn't ever look at that. And
Right.
he debunked a lot of myths on that podcast. It was kind of fascinating, but it's giving, and I'm having Marianne Williamson on, which I'm really excited to have
Oh
her.
my gosh, that's
So this is
amazing. I've been following her for 20 years. Love the things that she gets people to say on a daily basis about, you know, it's really about following your intuition, isn't it?
yeah, I mean, she's one of those dynamic people that I just can't even wait to talk to her. I thought I was going to go when Gloria Allred came on my podcast. I thought I would straight die. She was like my favorite person in the world. But now I'm going to interviewing Marianne. I feel like is going to be like a career high for me. Like, so I feel like this is kind of what this podcast is also too. Like, we can have friends on, we can have people we meet that we like, but also it's a chance to be like, well, who is like a hero to me? Like, who would I just die to interview? Right? It's the best.
Yes, that's very exciting. I'll be looking for that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and so let's get back to your book and I know you curate masterminds, you do coaching, speaking, workshops. Um, I've heard a lot of magic around your curated masterminds. Tell me about that.
So it's the Wise Women Collective, is what I call it. And what I do is I put groups of women together. And sometimes on the surface, it was like, why in the world are these women in the same room? But I have this kind of uncanny way of putting people together that I think should collaborate or work together or just heal each other.
Yeah, I think that's your superpower.
I think it is, and I appreciate you saying that because you've always been so kind to me about that, I have to say. But I really think what we do in this group is unique because it's a blend of a safe space to grow and heal and learn about yourself, but also I kind of turn into a hybrid business coach in there. So right now I have two clients that have podcasts that just launched. I have another one that's launching a new consulting business, and we are designing that together. And because I know these women so well, and it's a 6 month or a year container, we have the time and the space to actually develop and do legacy work, which I think is that's the thing I get the most excited about is working with women, helping them discover their legacy and then create the legacy. What is that? A business, a podcast, they're going to do a TED Talk. It could be anything, a charity, but I just love to do that with women. It's really incredible.
Yeah. And I mean, if you're working with women that are over 40, over 50, this is the perfect thing to be offering to them because I think they are like, what's next? What's exciting? What can I do with this third chapter of my life, so to speak? And I think that's great that you're curating that and giving them that opportunity to figure that out because, yeah, I mean, just what you and I are doing, is something that we're doing later in life, right? It's like
Yes.
whether it's making a movie, doing a podcast, launching a book. We have our book coming out as well, Show Her the Money book. And, I think we're unstoppable over 40, 50, 60, that there's no reason to slow down.
Yeah.
And it is time to create the legacy. Like, what are we going to leave behind that's going to make the world a little better place, right?
Yeah, and I think this is a new era of midlife. I mean, everybody knows this is not your mother's midlife, what we're in right now. It doesn't even look
Exactly.
remotely the same, right? That whatever manual they thought they were handing down to us, we just ripped that thing up and now we have a new one, right? So this is
That's right.
yeah, so this is the new era of midlife. And in the new era of midlife, we don't look at 40 and 50 and 60 and 70 as a downhill log flume to hell. We look at it as, no, this is the juicy time. You get to choose yourself. You get to say, what do I really want to spend my time doing? What has been something I've loved forever or something that I've denied myself? Or let me just even explore what that could be that would bring me just absolute joy. Because when you make your future bigger, your present is better. When you
Yes.
make that future bigger, you cannot wait to wake up in the morning. So if you don't have a future that's bigger, your day-to-day life will be a hamster wheel. And so when I invite women to like, okay, let's make a bigger future, then I start seeing them get excited, even when they don't know what it is. Just the thought
Right.
of like, okay, I'm going to explore this, right? Like they get excited. They
I
get,
think deep inside themselves, they know what it is, but they don't want to say it
uh-huh.
because it feels big.
Yes,
Oh, I want to write a book, or oh, I want to launch a podcast, or oh, I want to put on a women's conference, or whatever to help change the world. You don't want to say it because then you're afraid, oh, now I have to do it. I don't know if I can. But
exactly.
to like I know that you and I are aligned on the fact that you only have to know your why, you don't have to know your how.
Oh,
And
yes.
the magic comes in that, right? And
Yes.
then when the how reveals itself, you're like, oh my gosh, that's
Yeah.
right. I didn't know the universe was going to deliver it. This is so cool. All I
Yeah.
have to know is my why.
Yeah. I mean, I always say the how is none of your business. Because that's, I mean, truly though, that's you co-creating with the universe. Like you're not doing this by yourself. If I say I want to start a podcast, the minute I say it, minute I start talking about it, feeling into it, oh my God, that would be so exciting. I'm gonna start a podcast. The minute that starts happening, the universe listens. The universe says, oh, she wants to start a pod. Oh, let's bring her some people that could maybe help her or someone she could interview or right? It's a co-creation. You're never alone. So you're right. The how is none of your business.
It's almost scary but exciting that all you have to do is be thinking about it, visualizing it to manifest it. And you're so right. The minute you say it and believe it and start visualizing it, all of a sudden, all the hows start coming to you. And it's like, wow, who
Yeah.
knew that this person would come into my space and be offering that solution to what it is I want to be doing? And I think that is the crazy magic of it all. And
Yeah.
that's why your curated workshops work well, I would imagine, is that, here you have this idea, and then there's probably in the group people that could help make that come to fruition, right?
Oh, I mean, Dr. Amen came from one of the women in my group. He's not easy to get to, 4 million followers on Instagram or whatever he's got. But one of the women in the Wise Women Collective said, hey, I know him. Do you want to have him on the podcast? She connects him and he says yes instantly. This is the way things happen, and we forget that sometimes. We think we have to reinvent the wheel, start from the beginning. Oh, nobody's ever launched a podcast before. Hello, someone has done it. I've done it a million times. I do it for women all the time. I think it's kind of like when you start leaning into, there's already someone who's done the thing you want to do. You just got to find the right people to get you where you want to go. There's always somebody that can help.
Yes. Well, I think what you're doing is great, Liz. You're really impacting a lot of lives. And in turn, that impacts your life, right?
Oh my gosh. I feel like, I mean, talk about making your present better, right? Just to know that these women, if we have a whole world of women walking around living in their legacy, walking around like the good old times back in the tribal days where women sat in a circle and they shared their wisdom and they lifted each other up. I feel like this is what we're needing now. It's like
Yes.
this is part of the new era of midlife is women supporting, guiding, loving, sharing their wisdom, and living in their legacy now, not waiting, but now. And I think if there was a world of women walking around like that, my God, what a great one. What a great world.
Yes. And I feel a momentum building amongst women. We are lifting each other up. We are coming together to make our legacies a reality. And I don't you feel it? I feel like there's a momentum building all around the country, all around the world, this feminine energy of women coming into their power and helping each other to do that. And that's what it's going to take. We got to help each other. So thanks for the work that you're doing. Thanks for this great book, which is a wonderful share. Finding Your Diamonds. And I could take it. They can pick it up on Amazon.
Yep, it's a #1 bestseller on Amazon right now.
Yay! You go, girl.
Woo!
And they can look for your website. Excuse me, your podcast, which is the Liz Svatek Show, which I'm going to say Liz Svatek, but with a V, show. So be sure to check that out. And then is there a website they can go to?
Yeah, they can go to lizswatek.com. They can see all the things. I do healing, I do groups, workshops, classes. I got a lot of fun things.
Great. And I take it you're on LinkedIn.
Yes.
Yes.
Liz Svatek.
Okay, so everybody, and if you're just listening, it's Liz and then Svatek. You can find her on LinkedIn as well. And of course, you can find me, Catherine Gray, on LinkedIn, Catherine with a C, Gray with an A. We also have our movie website, showherthemoneymovie.com, as well as sheangelinvestors.com, which will then take you to everything that we're doing, including the She Angels Foundation. So thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Liz, thanks for being a fabulous guest. Make it a great week, everybody.